Welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, Luiz Faye. How you doing, Luiz?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. It's lovely to have you on. As I was saying to you before we came on, I go on Instagram, I get all the videos, the positivity, all the bright colours. You can't not smile when you see you, to be honest. So it's always a joy. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So
you.
it's lovely to have you on, especially during such a difficult time, to have someone that's, a real sort of shining light during a difficult time. So it's nice to have you on.
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
But how are you anyway? How's things?
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, I'm all good. Keeping busy, keeping motivated, trying to keep others motivated, and just taking each day as it comes, really. Don't put too much pressure on ourselves. We just keep going and yeah, take each day as it comes.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it's got to be at the moment, isn't it? As we were saying, it's when obviously we're recording it today, it's a year since we've been in lockdown. So it's yeah, as we were saying, it's a very unusual time, isn't it? Kind of we were looking sort of 3 months after the original lockdown that we thought we were going to be out of it and back to normal life, and here we are a year down the line and things are still the same. And yeah, it's been a very testing time, isn't it, as we may say, but a chance to reflect on things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's forced a big reset in people's lives. That time at home with the family that often people haven't had the opportunity to have. Change in job, not necessarily because it was a choice, but because it's had to have happened due to these circumstances. And yeah, there's nobody that hasn't been affected by this. And albeit it's been a very negative, very testing, like you say, time. I think it also has brought out the best in some people and communities. And obviously it's not the same as World War II or anything like that, but it kind of gives you that same kind of feel of how it must have been back then when everybody was in it together. And those words, "how are you," actually mean something. And I think that if that's one positive that's to come out of this, I think people are very much more aware of how people are.
Yeah, it's a very sort of needs must sort of time, isn't it? People, although you can't gather together or, even have that cuddle with a loved one or sort of conversations in person, but, to use the technology we've got like we are now. And, we wouldn't have met each other if it wasn't for Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, but also Zoom came out of nowhere. So, that's been massive for people doing online classes. We'll get to that in a minute. And, all those sorts of things, though, managers' meetings where everyone used to kind of have to come to one place. Now you're talking to 100 people in one chat room,
Yeah.
and showing your work on the thing. And it's incredible. So it's kind of opened another door, isn't it? But yeah, we're kind of, as we've touched on that, we'll swing back round to Luiz. And when did boxing sort of come into your life, Luiz? When did it all sort of happen for you?
I'm relatively newbie, I suppose, when it comes to boxing. Actually, I've been involved in boxing now only about 2.5 years, and it's always been as an adaptive athlete. So I had no experience as a traditional boxer. I watched the odd big fight with my friends, enjoyed it. Always thought about giving it a go. I've always been sporty and active anyway, but I just never got around to doing it with previous work commitments, etc., etc. So post my surgery, and I realised sort of if I was going to take part in sport, it was going to be slightly different to how I knew it was before. I got back in the pool. The pool had been a place for me, my solace really, all my life. I'd been a competitive swimmer growing up. And I got back in the pool and I really enjoyed it. And for the first couple of years, that's what I was kind of doing. And my timings became really good. So I contacted the para swimming authorities and said, look, can I come and see you? Can you have a look at my times? And they said, yeah, these look great on paper. Fantastic. Fill out this form. And I completed the form. And my response to it was that I wasn't disabled enough to be a para swimmer.
Okay.
And so that was my first experience of para sport, was that my condition wasn't on a list. So therefore I wasn't able to compete as a para swimmer, but my legs weren't able to carry me in the pool to swim as an able-bodied swimmer. So off I came out of the pool.
You're almost in that grey area, almost.
Yeah, limbo.
So you've basically got the able-bodied, the disabled at this end, and then Louise is literally slam bang in the middle. To say to someone they're not disabled enough.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah, and it really was. And so that was my first experience of being involved in para sport. And it kind of made me fall out of love with swimming. So I needed to look for something else. So I joined a local gym, and I was really lucky that I got a fantastic personal trainer. And we were just talking one day, and I pointed to the boxing bag in the corner and went, I would have loved to have done that as a standing boxer. I'd love to have given it a go. And I said, but woe is me, I can't. And he just turned around and went, why don't you do it in your chair? And what did I say? I went, very good point. Why not?
What was your initial thought then? What was your initial thought when he turned around and said, well, why don't you do it in your chair? Did you think, well, I can't?
Yeah, I didn't think it was even possible. I didn't think it was a thing. I didn't know if anybody had done it before, how to do it, how different it would be. But I suppose in a way, that was the bit that made me go, yeah, sod it, let's go. Let's give it a try. And the following week, I took my normal day wheelchair in, and we just started doing a little bit of pad work and this and that, and the rest's history. And it just, excuse the pun, it got me hooked. I'd always been strong, independent, confident. I was a police officer for 10 years, so I'd dealt with big, scary people, and always been relatively strong and be able to look after myself. And after my surgery and finding myself having to use crutches in a wheelchair, I lost a lot of confidence, a lot of strength, a lot of fitness, self-belief. And through those first few sessions, just doing the pads and taking out some tension and some stress and feeling some power and feeling the sweat dripping down my face for the first time in a good couple of years, it was just exhilarating. And yeah, that I've just never looked back.
So you were a police officer previously?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So you were a police officer. You never did. So you were doing your normal sports back then. Were you involved in sports and stuff back then as well? Then?
Yeah, not competitively. Yeah. Still doing a lot of swimming. A huge amount of cycling, open water swimming. All super active. Yeah.
So your fitness level is there?
It was, but it had been a long time since I'd had that kind of fitness, and I'd put a lot of weight on post-surgery with some medication, and so I had some work to do, but the muscle memory was there. And you'd make those little bit of a gain in a couple of weeks, and you think, okay, right, now I'm going to push it again, we'll add another 10 seconds onto the timer or whatever. And yeah, it just started to come back. But I'm fitter and stronger now than I've ever been.
Yeah, you can tell by your mindset, your mentality with doing stuff, that you've got that drive in you. When like he turned around to you originally and said, "We'll go and do the bag then," and your first thought is, "Well, I can't." And now look at you. You're saying like 2 years, 2.5 years down the line, and now you've come to the point of what you're doing now. which is, you know, basically doing your PT work over sort of Zoom and that side of things. So give us a little, tell us how you sort of work things over Zoom, and you know how that came about.
So again, that came as a result of lockdown, and we touched briefly on how lockdown affected boxing clubs and boxers. So on the 21st of March last year was the last day that our boxing club doors were open. Then we go into lockdown on the 23rd. And so I was all too aware that not just myself, but all of those boxers, junior, senior, whatever, we've all been left with nothing. We've got nowhere to go, no focus, no purpose, no structure, nothing, no answers. So the following Monday, we said, right, I'm going to get on the Zoom. And at that point, I had 3 adaptive boxers, but I was coaching able-bodied boxers from my wheelchair. So I'm a level 1 England boxing coach, and I'm one of 2 people in the country who have done that within a wheelchair. So going back to the Zoom. So I said, right, we're going to put some online classes on, and we'll do it as an inclusive class. So it had all the traditional boxers standing up doing their stuff, my 3 adaptive boxers, myself, and an able-bodied coach, and that's how it started. And we started posting a few bits here and a bits there on Facebook and whatnot, and people started asking questions. Can I get involved? Could I join in? And we started to think, maybe we should put on a separate class, create this safe space for people with disabilities and additional needs to get box fit. And so we continued doing the able-bodied classes, but we put on this separate class. And when I first started doing them, it was very sort of basic stuff, in that I'm in my wheelchair, everybody else is sat in front of me, and we're doing nice, basic jabs and crosses with a little bit of seated fitness and all of that. Fast forward a year, we're now doing virtual sparring. It's crazy, you know? So just yesterday, we did some, what we call condition sparring, but virtual. So I've got, like you there, and I might say to you, right, I'm going to throw straight shots at you, and you can only slip those shots and come back with a counter.
Right, okay.
So, but I want you moving. So now we're face to face. It's like you're in my front room. I'm going to throw that shot. You're going to slip to the outside. You're going to come back. What do I then do? I defend that shot. And you start to build it up, and it becomes, yeah. And in doing that, it's safe. No one's getting hurt. But by slowing it down in that way, the learning is coming on a lot quicker than what potentially I think it would be sometimes in a face-to-face environment. So yeah, it started off basic, and now we just fly with it. It's great.
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's great what you do and how you do it. And, you know, like you say, you slow that down. It makes you think about what you're doing as opposed to just doing it. So then you start to think, so why am I doing it? How would I do it? Because you almost start to read things a bit better, don't you? If things are slower, you start to have that more reading of the sport. And yeah, I just think it's great. You know, you've taken it from a gym and you've put it into someone's front room as you say, in a safe environment where everyone can join in. No one feels left out. No one feels like they're looking at someone else going, oh, well, they're better than me, or everyone's in the same situation. So everyone's on a level playing field, aren't they? Whether you're able-bodied or not. You know,
absolutely.
That's a great thing.
It's interesting you just touched on that, because whenever we introduce somebody new to the group, which tonight we've had a new person join, one of the first things I say is, do not compare yourself to anybody else on this screen, because everybody is here with a different condition, with different abilities, with different needs. And we look to adapt exercises, punches, defenses to suit people. So it might be that I'm asking you to do a specific thing, but the person next to you will know that they do it slightly differently because we've worked on that to suit their ability. And so there goes all of that competition that you find when you roll into a boxing gym in person. You know,
walk in and everyone turns around.
The tavern doors go like this behind.
Like salute doors in a Western, and everyone looks around to say, "Oh, a new person," and it's that kind of feel, isn't it? But I just think it's great what you've created is amazing, and especially in a time where people need it. People need, you know, we were discussing it earlier. They need the fitness because you know, they could go out for a walk if they're able to. You know, mentality wise, you need to have, you know, people have got weaker over this time because it's not the norm. You know, you can't just take that. You can't just go down to the shops. You can't just go and see a friend. You can't even pop to the neighbour. You know, you've got to totally be switched on. It's tiring to think, oh, well, right, I've got to take, right, have I got my face mask? Have I got this? Have I got that? Have I got everything I need? You know, and that's a lot for, you know, I used to work in brain injury. So, you know, you had to try and equip people anyway before they'd leave to go to the shop. So they would have a list in their head of what they've got to do before they even get to the shop, you know, let alone have a list for the shop.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you say, the way you've done things, it just makes it so personal, but easy for people in that way that they can just slot in and not feel like I'm behind, you know, I'm not good enough for this. They can just come in, work at their own pace, and everyone knows what they're doing. But everyone supports one another, and that's the important thing, isn't it? How many people have you got now?
About 50 in total, 50 active participants. Yeah. And that's international now, as well. So we've got a great tribe of guys. We're Kronik Warriors, so we're a warrior tribe. So you'll hear me refer to that. But we've got a great tribe of guys from America, which is just awesome. You know, they're getting up early in their morning to do the lunchtime classes because they're just hooked. So they just can't get enough. It's brilliant. And all of these people have said to me over the last 12 months or however long I've been involved, Louise, I have made more friends during lockdown than I have in the past 10 years. And when you hear that and people are looking in your eyes and they're saying that, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. It really, really is. It's a really special thing.
Yeah, and as we were saying, especially during a time where you're locked in, you know, we're in lockdown, it doesn't mean you lock yourself in. And now people are open, you know, they can find what all this is all about and a way
on
to
Christmas. On Christmas Day, for example, we were all too aware that there was going to be some people that would be having Christmas on their own. And so what we made a decision to do was at 8 o'clock UK, excuse me, UK time. So it was afternoon for the Americans. We all have Zoom social and we had Christmas drinks together on Christmas Day night. And so there was, I think, around 15, 20 people who popped in throughout Christmas Day to say hello and have a drink and a coffee with their friends and a slice of Christmas cake. It was just amazing. So, and these people would have been on their own with nothing and no one. And now they've got friends to call upon and support each other.
That's it. It's priceless, isn't it? It's priceless. You know, you've got the world in front of you with a keyboard, and the fact that you're doing what you do, and I know you don't do it alone. You know, there's other people that sort of dig in and get stuff done as well,
and it's all through the community. So everybody who helps us has come through the doors of the Zoom classes. So I was little old me on my own at the beginning of it for Kronik, and now Roxanne Steele, she is our mental health lead, so she does mental health blogs. She's our cerebral palsy ambassador as well. It's CP Awareness Month throughout March, so we've been doing a lot of work around that. We've got Chris at My Ability. He helps support us with some equipment, and he helps to service the wheelchairs and things like that. So everybody chips in and helps out. It's great. I know I'm probably biased, but it is.
No, is there any way that people can get involved? So if there's anyone that, watches this, how can they get involved, Louise?
Absolutely. So we running free classes. I've been doing some free classes throughout the whole of lockdown, and I've decided to extend them till the end of April. So we've got a Monday morning and a Tuesday evening, which are free box fit seated fitness classes. To get in touch with us, you can find us on our Instagram page, which is Kronik Warriors, or you can go to Facebook of the same name, Kronik Warriors. We've got a YouTube channel. And the website is, this is where it gets confusing, is Kronik Warrior Aromatherapy, because my original hat is an aromatherapy.
I'll stick it in the link. I'll put a link.
There you go.
I'll put the link in the description so we can eliminate that.
I'm going to point.
It'll be down there.
I'm going to point now, and he's going to put it there.
We'll be a bit further down than there, but it'll be down there somewhere. Yeah, just somewhere. But no, yeah, because if even if we can get one person that looks at this and says, do you know what, that really helped me, then job done. As far as I'm concerned, it's.
You know what? This isn't it, and it's not about going in to compete. It's not about looking to get in the ring. This is about a really mindful, functional sport, and it can help. It can help improve day-to-day life. Just from when you're sitting down in your wheelchair, picking something up from the floor is really tough if you've got low core control. So you can imagine just slips and rolls, building that core stability and mobility. So it becomes functional for that person in day-to-day life. So yeah, if you are watching this and you are thinking about joining, please get in touch. Any questions that you've got, we will hopefully try and answer. And like I say, we're not going to be forcing you into any boxing rings anytime soon. No, it's a nice, safe space.
I wouldn't get in one with you anyway, to be honest.
Oh, there was my first plan for coming out of lockdown.
No, there's not going to be any call-outs on here, I'll tell you.
Oh, Joel.
Yeah. We'll see. If my fitness goes up a bit, I might. But I've got to sort myself out first. But no, honestly, I think it's amazing what you do. I've spoke to you about it before, and we've shared words about what you do and how you do things, and like we said, you're going to be starting looking at a podcast as well, aren't you?
So yeah, we do a podcast, called Chatterbox. And so it started off being a little bit of a post-fight chat. So if there'd been fight night on at the weekend, a few of us would get together and we'd kind of talk about that. But then we started to think, actually, we can use this to raise awareness of disabilities and disability sport. And so we pick relevant topics. It might be an issue that somebody in the group has had that they want to talk about, or whatever. And we get the relevant people together and we thrash it out. And what we're trying to do is encourage people to have the conversations that often people find quite difficult. And what I mean by that is, within disability, often people are anxious and scared to ask the questions that are in their minds. And what we're trying to say is, let's talk, let's ask the questions, let's see if we can answer them, and let's see if we can, raise some awareness along the way. And we've only just started, but we get some lovely feedback from it. This week we went slightly different, and we made it for Sarah Everand, who is the lady who was kidnapped and murdered in London 2 weeks ago. And as a former police officer, for me, it was a real tough week. And it was actually, I don't mind saying it, it was me that said, right, girls, we need a podcast, we need a chat. I need to talk. I need to get this off, you know, and thrash this out and stuff. And so we've done that in tribute for Sarah, and we've talked about women's safety and women's safety for women with a disability. If you're scared, you're an able-bodied person, you're going to run away. We don't have that luxury. So they were the conversations that we were having this week.
Yeah. No, powerful stuff. And as you say, you're using something so simple to get the message out there, and people are able to tune in and not feel the pressure, you know, to feel that they've got to sit there and listen. They can listen to it when they're ready, you know, and that's available, you know. And yeah, big shout out to you girls doing that. That's great work, you know. Really great. It's just nice to get these things out there, because a lot of people know that there's stuff out there. Blimey, there's podcasts out your ear holes, isn't there? And you know, and boxing channels and all sorts of different things going on. So just to, you know, put it out there that, you know, Louise is, in my opinion, the go-to person. If there's a topic or anything that you need to talk about, she'll put it on the air, and you can make your way through it, can't you? You know?
Absolutely, yeah. And Kronik is all about community, so we will listen to you. If you send us a message and say, look, we would really like you to do a conversation around this subject, we will absolutely listen to that, and we'll put those plans in place. No,
definitely. Well, going back to the boxing, because you said just a second ago, you know, you'll thrash out after, say, like a weekend of fighting's just been on, or anything like that. Has there been any fights recently that you've watched and you thought, oh, blimey, that's a good one, or any coming up that you're looking forward to seeing?
Good question. Do you know, I was super happy for Lawrence Okoli at the weekend. I thought it was punch perfect. He was focused, enjoyed every second of it, gave a fantastic performance. And as a sports person after that, what I loved was when he was in the corner just before the ref came to go and bring him back out, and he went, am I world champion now? And he went so high pitch, and he couldn't believe it. And I was like screaming at the TV. I was going, Lawrence, you've done it. Yes, you've done it. You know, and I didn't really know too much about him, to be honest. And I started watching the documentaries that were just on in the lead up to the fight, and started to understand that his inspiration had come from seeing Usain Bolt and Anthony Joshua at the London 2012s. He was working in McDonald's at the time. He was overweight, had no focus. And that's kind of what we've just been saying off air about boxing, isn't it? And that's an amazing success story of what boxing can do. So I really enjoyed that fight for that reason. But I would say, going back to the original fight camp at Matchroom Square Garden, I think the women, hands down, put on some absolute spectacles. Absolutely loved them. I
think they put themselves on the map even more. You know, you had Courtney Ball, which was, you know, fantastic. Rachel Ball blew me away, I'm going to be honest. And, you know, everyone going into that fight went, Shannon Courtney's got it. She's got it. There's no Rachel Ball, you know, she's tall, but she's, you know, and she...
Go back on my Instagram stories. I called it. We got you, Rachel. We got you.
I'm not giving you the satisfaction. But, you know, I'll never get predictions right, so...
No, me neither. That was a fluke.
Yeah. But, yeah, you had that. Then you obviously had...
Jonas
and Harper.
Yeah. And then there was...
That was quality. Like,
Katie Taylor, wasn't it? With the third one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got and we've got those to look forward to coming up as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which obviously, I know Rachel obviously won't be fighting as soon as what she would have hoped, which is a shame, you know, for her. But still, some great cards coming up.
Yeah, so we've got.
I've really liked Ramla Ali. Really impressed with her. I think she is phenomenal. And I think she's gonna. I love her. I know she said that she doesn't want to be a story, but again, as an inspirational woman, she will inspire young girls and women coming up into sport and other sports for a long, long time. Great stuff.
She fought Beck Connolly, didn't she, at the weekend? And
yes.
I was gutted because I had Beck on here the other week, and she's an absolute grafter. She was scaffolding the week before she got the call because her PT online had basically gone under. She was just picking up jobs until she could get a fight, and she was scaffolding with all the blokes. She's been doing all sorts of jobs, cleaning, all sorts. So she's been an inspiration in her own right, and just amazing. And then obviously coming up now, you've got Shannon Courtney versus Ebony Bridges. You've got Katie Taylor versus Natasha Jonas, which is going to be, what's your prediction? I'm going to get it out of you now. Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've set myself up now, haven't I?
Yeah, you have. You were shouting from the rooftop. You got a
right. Okay.
Now it's on you.
So I love them both equally. First off, so this is.
I love what you've done there.
Okay, so
you don't have fence sitting, no. I'm just going to let you know. Don't sit on the fences on here.
I'm not. I'm going to say that Katie Taylor is going to dance her way to the top. She's going to do this. Yeah, she's going to do this. To me, when I look at, I'm obsessed with footwork because it's something that we don't get to do. And so when I look at Katie and I watch her, she's just a dancer. She just dances around that ring, and the angles that she can create from her footwork is what blows me away whenever I watch a box. However, Tasha has got a lovely discipline about her boxing, and I love her jab. I love that she's southpaw. She's going to be awkward. There's going to be so much to that fight. I think, it could go either way, but I think that Kate is going to win it on rounds. It's going to go all the way, but it's going to be. But Kate is going to take it.
Yeah, I asked someone the other day, and they started off exactly the same as you, and they went through the whole process, and they were going, Katie, power, because Katie's powerful, fantastic.
Yeah.
Power, but Natasha Jonas, determined, she's got the full works, and I was going, yeah, and they were going, it's going to be a really good fight, and I went, no. You're not leaving it there. You've just given a whole 5-minute spiel on this fight, and now you're just going to leave it. I said, no, we don't do that here. And she went, Katie Taylor. And she went, all right, okay. But yeah, it is one of those fights. It's going to split people down the middle 50-50, I think. If not 50-50, I think it's going to be a fight that's going to be probably her toughest test to date, Katie. So
yeah, I don't doubt that, and I think she probably knows that as well.
I'm really looking forward to it. To it. So
me too.
We shall see. If you're right again, as always, I will post something. I'll post something on Instagram, and it'll be me of a picture of me holding my hands up. And and if not, then it'll be there somewhere. There's got to be there somewhere. but no, Louise, you're an absolute star. What you're doing with your online classes, your podcast, just you as a person, putting out your positivity, and just spreading the love across Instagram is great. So keep doing what you're doing. And it's been lovely having you on. So,
oh no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll have a chat afterwards about getting the link in the description. That'll be down there. And
that place again.
Yeah, be down there.
I thought you were going to say we'll have a conversation about getting in that ring, Lou. I thought that's what you was going to say.
Yeah. Nice one. And I'll speak to you soon. But thanks for coming on.
Absolute pleasure. You take care.
Yeah, and you take care.
Bye, mate.
Well, Louise Faye, what a star. She's
I hope that was
got,
okay.
she's got so much drive in her, and can't wait for the gyms to get back open and do what she loves. But for the meantime, what she's doing with her Zoom, what she's doing with the podcast, really inspirational, and how she's been such a positive influence on people is great. So, as always, you've been watching JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Thank you.